Hello everybody, I'm Melissa. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna go over how I wrap these little briolette beads. Briolets, they have their little dangle beads and they have a hole going across this way. So if you ever see these beads and you're wondering how the heck you incorporate these into jewelry, well, I'll show you now how I wrap them up and put them and make them ready for my jewelry. Now I tend to wrap them ahead of time. One less step I have to worry about if they're already pre-made, but it depends on the metal I use and everything. So I'll leave some unwrapped and I'll wrap some up just so I just have a few I can go to if I need to. So really quick, these guys right here are Swarovski crystals, which I love because they're precise, they're cut very precise, the holes are uniform, and I know what to expect with these. These over here are gemstone. I think this one's glass. These are like smoky quartz gemstone beads, and you never know what you're gonna get with those. So these can be tricky to wrap. These come out different every time. You got to work with it. The drilled holes going through are not the same. These two, they're either crooked, cockeyed, too close to the tip. The holes might be really small where your wire might go through one but not the other. So you never know what you're gonna get with these. Sometimes, like this one here, sometimes Swarovski. This one was sent to me with no hole drilled. So I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with this. I know I'll do something, but I haven't figured it out yet. So sometimes you get a dud with the Swarovski, but not very often. The wire I use, the gauge, if it's smaller, I'll use 24 gauge. If it's a little bigger and needs more substance, I might use 22. But for these, I'm going to stick with the 24 gauge. Now the Swarovski crystals I know will fit. I'm pretty sure they'll fit the 22 gauge as well. So if you want, like with this one, it's a larger bead and you want a nice chunky wrap around it, you can use the 22. Maybe I will wrap this one in the 22, and the smaller ones I'll do in the 24. So, and I'll show you with the glass and the gemstone beads. Okay, so in this glass bead, I think it's glass, I'm not sure. I didn't get it, it was given to me, so I'm not sure what it is, but let's say it's glass. So it's crooked, it's cockeyed. The 22 gauge does fit through it, but I think it'll be too much for this stone. So let's try the smoky quartz. 22 gauge does not fit. Even though it would look nice with this nice big chunky bead, it does not fit. I've tried bead reamers and everything. I tend to just break them. Okay, let's try the 24, which isn't working. $26 fits through this one. I'm not too thrilled that it's only 26 fits through this because it's such a substantial bead. This bead is 16 by 8 and it's pretty heavy, so 26 gauge. I'm gonna put a nice chunky top on it. So let's see how that turns out here. I'm gonna put a chunky top on it to give it some stability. So this area here, I like to try to center. Since it's cockeyed, you see it's cockeyed there, it's gonna make it difficult. Give myself a lot of wire. To make it nice and chunky. And you'll know what I mean in a second. So I'm gonna make my loop. Like that. Start wrapping it. It's gonna look kind of like a mess, but that's kind of the look I'm going for. Oops. Try not to hit the camera. I think I might have to just hold this with my fingers. So we're gonna give this guy a little hat, like a little wire cap. Kind of disguise the funkiness going on underneath. Alright, so I'm just using my fingers and twisting it and twisting the wire back up again. Since the wire is so fine, I can do that. Alright, where's my end? I can't see it. There it is. Tuck your end away. Excuse me. All right, so that's how I wrap a difficult gemstone briole. To kind of disguise the unevenness of it. All right, so let's try this again. I just want to give this a try on another one. Really quick, I'm going to keep this really tight to the bead. See if I can clean this up a bit or make it a neater wrap. Give myself plenty of wire. Lots of wire. It's like 15 inches of wire, huh? My loop is cockeyed because the wire is so small. That's why these are such a pain. They're a little aggravating. Holding it right at the base here, the base of the bead, to keep it sturdy because it's flopping all over the place. So I'm already running out of wire. So I'm going to start bringing this back up again. Not too fast. Okay. Kind of going for a messy look anyways. Oh wow, how'd that get so long? Lots of household noises today. Alright, so they kind of match. That would make a cute pair of earrings. Alright, I'll show you the Swarovski crystals and how much easier they are. Now I'm going to wrap this Swarovski Briolet. I think it's a 9 by 13. Let me see. No, 11. By 10. 10 by 11. That's Swarovski. I usually get them from Fire Mountain Gems or Art Bead. Just like that. And depending on how far you want to have your bead hang from your loop is how much you tighten this part up. So you can bring it, center it and bring it down, or you can make it hang really far. Like that, have your loop up here and have it hang really far, but I usually go about midway, about like that. And these I usually don't even have to wrap this guy around. I just kind of cut him off. Make sure everything's centered. cut off some wire. So here I'm giving myself about 8 inches of wire. So right at this junction here, I'm going to make a loop. I'm trying to work through the camera and not below it. It's making things interesting here. But I want you all to see it, so I don't want to go off camera. So I'm going to grab that loop and start wrapping it around. You do have to be gentle because if you pull real hard, it'll misshapen this curve you got here. So you gotta be gentle, just kind of swing it. Swing the wire around. Yeah, I'm just really being gentle about it. I'm not yanking, not pulling anything really tight because I don't want to distort anything. You can go as far down as you want. I think I'm going to stop there. I don't want to cover the tip of this. I'd like it to swing a little bit. So I'm going to cut it and tuck it. Ever so gently. I'll make that the back. This is the front. See, flatten everything out of it. Let's see if I flatten these, what will happen. I don't want to touch it too much, but that's good enough. All right, so that is the larger crystal. Let's move on to smaller. For these little guys, I'm going to use 24 gauge wire. I have 2 sizes here. This one, (7x5), I believe. 7x4. This guy's a little larger. 9x5. Yes, 9x5 and a 7x4. Let's take the 9x5. I make a loop, or a little, not a loop, but a U. That's why I like the crystals so much. So I make a U, just like that. Pull it out a little bit and slip the little crystal on. And it dangles freely. So then I bring this back over, connect them, make sure everything's lined up across the top, that everything's centered. And for these, I think I cut about 3 inches. It should give us plenty of wire to work with, because I usually don't wrap these really heavy. So I make the loop. So if you don't know how to make a wrapped loop, check out this video at the top here. It'll show you how, because you need to know how to make a wrapped loop before you move on to these crystals, or these Briolet hanging beads, because they can be a lot trickier. Alright, so that's where we are now, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around. This wire is actually bigger than the wire I used for the gemstone beads that are a heck of a lot bigger than this one. So here I'm just gonna, I gave myself a lot of extra wire. I usually go about 3 rotations. That should be good enough here. But I gave myself a lot of extra wire here, so I think I'm gonna use it. So that's where I usually stop. But for this one, I'm gonna keep going. I mean, it's all up to you. You can do whatever you want. I make sure I'm not distorting my little shape here, so my bead dangles freely. So I don't want to like pinch it where it doesn't move freely, because it catches a lot of light and it sparkles a lot, so I want it to sparkle. People just love these crystal sparkly dangles and earrings or anything. Some people just love the sparkle. Push it up. It does get tricky at the end here because you don't want to smoosh anything. I'm going to end it behind. I'm just going to push it up and behind just a little bit. I don't feel it, so I'm going to make this the front. If I make earrings, this is the side that faces outward. And there we are. And that's it. I'll make a bunch of these up ahead of time. I think I said that before. But if I have some extra free time, I'll just make them up and put them aside. I don't have any pre-made copper ones. I usually use the sterling silver wire. I have one last bead here. How big was it? 7 by 5, something like that. Yeah. So same thing. I make a little U. Just like that. Slip the bead on. Just like that. I don't bother to tie this around. I just touch the wire with it. So I'm going to give myself 2 inches here. That should be plenty of wire. Like I said, it's all up to you whether you want a nice chunky hat on your bead or if you just want a simple wrap. I usually just make them simple, especially with these crystals, because you want to show off the crystal because they're just so pretty. Make sure everything's centered and lined up. At first I pull it pretty tight. I want that top loop to be pretty snug and tight. But then as I go around, I'm pretty loose. Sorry about that. So I push these two wraps up with my fingernail, and then I just follow along with the rest of the wire. Just kind of swing it around. I think I'm going to end it there. If you're making a bunch at once and you're making them all look the same, you'll get a feel for how much wire you need, and then you'll cut it to the length you need, and then you won't waste as much. So I don't want to see the end from the front.
If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe because I post a new video each week.